The invasion of Xerth. On the distant planet of Xerth, humans lived a serene life far from the tumult of the galaxy. The planet was a tranquil haven with expansive skies and rolling green fields. Its inhabitants were primarily farmers and researchers, leading a life of peace and simplicity. This calm existence was shattered one sunny morning when ominous shadows loomed over their world. Massive ships descended from the sky, casting dark shadows across the land. These were the Chlorians, a formidable race known for their aggressive expansion and planet claiming. The Chlorians, clad in gleaming, imposing armor, landed with a menacing presence. Their leader, Gorath, stepped onto the human soil and announced with a booming voice, "This planet is now under the control of the Chorian Empire. Surrender peacefully, and you will not be harmed." The humans of Xerth were paralyzed with fear. They had no military, no weapons, and no means of defense. The leaders attempted to negotiate, but Gorath dismissed their pleas with disdain. Amidst the rising panic, Alex, a quiet man with a remarkable skill, stood out. Alex was a sniper, once a soldier on Earth, now hoping for a peaceful life on Xerth. But seeing the terror in his neighbor's eyes, he knew he couldn't remain passive. Alex had lived on Xerth for many years and was intimately familiar with the terrain. As the Chlorians began to establish their camp, Alex formulated a plan. He watched from the hills, observing their movements and noting their patrols. He knew he couldn't confront them directly, but believed he could create enough fear to make them reconsider. That night, while the Chlorians celebrated their apparent victory, Alex prepared for his first strike. He retrieved his old rifle, cleaned and checked it, and packed a small bag with essentials. As darkness fell, he ventured into the night, using the shadows to conceal his movements. He found a vantage point on a hill, giving him a clear view of the Chorian camp while remaining hidden. Alex set up his rifle and waited. The night was still, the stars shining brightly above, and he felt a calm focus. He recalled his training, how to control his breathing and remain still for hours. At dawn, he saw his chance. A group of Chorian leaders emerged to inspect their new domain, laughing and talking loudly, unaware of the danger. Alex took a deep breath, aimed carefully, and squeezed the trigger. The shot rang out, echoing across the fields. One of the Chorian leaders fell, and chaos erupted in the camp. The Chlorians scrambled, bewildered by the sudden attack. Alex remained composed, taking another shot to hit a piece of equipment, causing an explosion of sparks. Gorath, trying to regain control, shouted orders, but it was too late. Alex had demonstrated that the humans of Xerth were not as defenseless as they appeared. With a few more precise shots, he disabled a vehicle and another piece of equipment before retreating under the cover of darkness. Back in his home, Alex prepared for the inevitable retaliation. He knew the Chlorians would be furious and actively searching for him. But he also knew the land and had a plan. The first day of conflict on Xerth had arrived, but so had hope. The people now had a protector, and Alex was determined to fight for his new home and its people. The sniper's strategy. The morning after his initial attack, Alex woke up early, replaying the previous night's events in his mind. He had made the first strike, but this was just the beginning. Today, he needed to be even more strategic. Alex spent the morning preparing for his next move. He chose a new location, a rocky hillside that overlooked the Chorian camp. It was a concealed spot, surrounded by trees and elevated, providing a broad view while keeping him hidden. As he settled into position, Alex used binoculars to observe the Chlorians. They were visibly shaken, moving frenetically as they set up defensive measures, their confidence shaken by the previous night's events. By midday, the sun was high, making the air shimmer with heat. Alex remained still, covered by camouflage netting. He took small sips of water and maintained his focus. Patience was crucial for a sniper, and Alex knew this well. Then he spotted his opportunity. Gorath, surrounded by guards, emerged from his tent to rally his troops. Alex had a different plan this time. He targeted a large fuel tank near a generator. It was a challenging shot due to the distance and heat waves rising from the ground. Taking a deep breath, Alex adjusted his rifle scope and waited for the perfect moment. When he felt ready, he pulled the trigger. The shot was accurate, and the tank exploded in a massive fireball, sending shockwaves through the camp. The explosion caused panic among the Chlorians. They scattered, their sense of security shattered. Alex quickly moved to a new hiding spot, a small cave with a clear view of the camp's main gate. From this vantage point, he observed the Chlorians trying to reorganize, their frustration mounting. They were looking everywhere for the elusive sniper, their confusion adding to their disarray. As night fell, the Chlorians set up additional lights around the camp to deter further attacks. However, the bright lights made it easier for Alex to see his targets. He knew this was his chance to do more than just cause fear. With the guards distracted, Alex aimed at the communication dish atop the command center. Disabling the dish would hinder their ability to coordinate and call for reinforcements. He fired, hitting the dish and sending sparks flying as it spun out of control. The Chlorians were now not only frightened but isolated. Garath was furious and alarmed, realizing they were up against a skilled and determined human. Alex spent the rest of the night moving stealthily, always staying one step ahead of the search parties. He knew the Chlorians would have to make a decisive move eventually, and he was prepared to counter it. As dawn approached, Alex looked out over the camp, determined to keep the pressure on the invaders. He had weakened their hold on Zerth, but the battle was far from over. This was his planet, and he would continue to defend it, one shot at a time. Allies in the shadows. The day after the explosion at the supply depot, Alex remained on high alert. He was concerned about Micah, the alien who had assisted him, and hoped for news of his safety. As hours turned into a day without any sign of Micah, Alex knew he had to act. Alex decided to take the fight directly into the heart of the Chorian camp. He prepared for the most dangerous mission yet, checking his equipment, loading extra ammunition, and setting out before dawn. The stars still sparkled in the pre-dawn sky as he approached the camp, observing the increased security. Using the cover of darkness, Alex crawled through the underbrush, inching closer to the camp. He employed the jamming device Micah had given him to disrupt the drone's signals, creating a blind spot in their surveillance. This allowed him to slip past the outer guards and into the camp undetected. Inside, Alex moved like a shadow. He avoided patrols, hiding behind tents and supply stacks. His heart raced with each narrow escape, but he pressed on, driven by the thought of Micah in danger. Eventually, he located Micah in a makeshift prison, guarded by 2 Chlorians. Alex waited for the right moment, then took out the guards with swift, silent shots. Unlocking the cell, Alex helped Micah to his feet. Micah, weak but resilient, managed a grateful smile. "I knew you'd come," he whispered. Alex nodded, and together they began the perilous journey out of the camp. They moved carefully, avoiding the main paths and using the chaos in the camp to cover their escape. As they neared the forest edge, alarms began to sound. The Chlorians realized their prisoners were escaping, and Alex and Micah quickened their pace. Bullets flew around them as they dashed for the safety of the woods. Once in the forest, Alex led Micah to a hidden cave he had prepared as a safe spot. They caught their breath, listening as the sounds of the search parties faded into the distance. Alex treated Micah's injuries with his limited supplies. As dawn broke, the forest came alive with peaceful sounds, a stark contrast to the previous night's chaos. Alex looked at Micah, who was resting against the cave wall. "We're going to make it," Alex said with more confidence than he felt. Micah nodded, his spirit unbroken despite the ordeal. With Micah's help, Alex was more confident in continuing the fight against the Chlorians. The final offensive. As the days wore on, Alex and Micah remained hidden, moving only when necessary. They heard the Chlorians searching the forest, sometimes coming dangerously close, but Alex's knowledge of the terrain and Micah's quick thinking kept them safe. The Chlorians, frustrated and demoralized by their failed attempts to find the elusive sniper, began to withdraw. The once feared invaders were now struggling to sustain their presence on Xerth. The continued sabotage, coupled with the growing legend of the mysterious sniper, had a significant impact on their morale. The humans of Xerth were inspired by Alex's actions and rallied together to support the fight. One evening, as Alex and Micah discussed their next move, they heard the distant rumble of Chlorian vehicles approaching. The Chlorians had regrouped and were preparing for a final, desperate push to crush the resistance. Alex knew it was time for a decisive action. He and Micah formulated a plan to use the Chlorians' own technology against them. They would infiltrate their command center and disrupt their operations from within. Alex used the knowledge he had gained about the Chlorian technology to devise a plan. The key was to plant a device that would disable their energy shield, making them vulnerable. Under the cover of darkness, they moved towards the command center, evading patrols and bypassing security measures. Inside, Alex used his skills to locate the central control room and plant the device. As they prepared to leave, alarms suddenly blared. They had been detected. Alex and Micah fought their way out, taking down guards and sabotaging key equipment as they went. The Chlorians, caught off guard by the sudden assault, struggled to mount an effective defense. Alex's strategic strikes and Micah's ability to disrupt their communications created chaos among the invaders. Finally, the energy shield fell, and the Chlorians' defenses were breached. The humans of Xerth, emboldened by the sudden turn of events, launched a coordinated counterattack. The Chlorians, facing a united and determined resistance, were forced to retreat. Goraf and his troops, now on the defensive, had no choice but to abandon their invasion. As the last of the Chlorian ships lifted off from Xerth, the planet's people erupted in cheers. The threat had been vanquished, and the Chlorians had been driven away. Alex and Micah, exhausted but triumphant, stood together as heroes. The fight for Xerth had been long and hard, but it was a victory that would be remembered for generations. With the invaders gone and peace restored, Xerth began the process of rebuilding and healing. Alex and Micah's bond had grown strong through their shared struggle, and they looked forward to a future where Xerth could once again be a place of peace and prosperity. The aftermath and new threats. In the weeks following the Chlorian retreat, Xerth began to recover from the devastation. The once bustling camp of the invaders was now a desolate field of scorched earth and abandoned equipment. The people of Xerth, led by Alex and Micah, worked tirelessly to clear the remnants of the invasion and rebuild their homes. Alex took on a leadership role, using his experience to help organize the rebuilding efforts. He coordinated with the Xerthian leaders to ensure that resources were used efficiently and that the rebuilding process was as swift as possible. The planet's people, inspired by his bravery and dedication, rallied around him, determined to restore their world. Micah, recovering from his injuries, used his knowledge of Chlorian technology to analyze the abandoned equipment. His insights proved invaluable, allowing the humans to repurpose some of the technology for their own use. Micah's contributions also helped in understanding the Chlorians' tactics and preparing for any future threats. Despite the progress, Alex and Micah were not naive. They knew that the Chlorians' departure did not mean an end to their troubles. The Chlorians had been part of a larger galactic empire, and their retreat might be a strategic maneuver rather than a full withdrawal. Alex and Micah remained vigilant, knowing that Xerth's safety depended on their preparedness. One evening, as Alex surveyed the rebuilt village, he received troubling news. A group of scouts had reported strange signals coming from beyond the planet's orbit. The signals were intermittent but highly unusual. Alex, concerned about the possibility of a new threat, decided to investigate. Micah joined him as they set out in a small reconnaissance vessel equipped with the latest communication and sensor technology. They traveled beyond Xerth's atmosphere, following the signal's source. The journey took them through the silent expanse of space, a stark reminder of the vastness of the galaxy and the challenges they faced. As they approached the source of the signal, their sensors picked up a massive object moving slowly towards Earth. It was a colossal spacecraft, unlike anything they had seen before. The ship was heavily armored and bristling with weaponry. It was clear that this was no ordinary vessel. It was a warship of formidable power. Alex and Micah's hearts sank as they realized the potential danger. The Chlorians had not acted alone. They were part of a larger galactic conflict. The warship's arrival could signal the beginning of a new invasion or an escalation of the existing conflict. They had to act quickly to protect Zerth. Returning to the planet, Alex convened an emergency meeting with the Zerthian leaders. They discussed their options and devised a plan to prepare for the worst. The Zerthians began fortifying their defenses and mobilizing their forces. Alex and Micah worked together to develop strategies for defending against the new threat. The warship, now identified as a vessel belonging to a powerful galactic faction known as the Zorath, approached Zerth with ominous intent. The Zorath were known for their ruthlessness and advanced technology. Their arrival signaled a new chapter in Zerth's struggle for survival. As the Zorath warship neared the planet, its weapon systems powered up, ready for potential combat. Alex and Micah watched from a distance, bracing for the imminent confrontation. The fate of Zerth once again rested on their shoulders. They had faced formidable enemies before, but this new threat was unlike anything they had encountered. The battle for Zerth was far from over, and the stakes had never been higher. Alex and Micah prepared for the fight of their lives, knowing that the resilience and ingenuity they had shown in the past would be crucial in overcoming the new challenges ahead. The Battle of Zerth. The Zorath warship loomed over Zerth, its presence casting a long shadow across the planet. The Zorath were a fearsome race, known for their superior technology and unyielding aggression. Their arrival signaled a new and more dangerous phase in the conflict. Alex and Micah continued their preparations, working tirelessly to fortify Zerth's defenses. They coordinated with the Zerthian military to set up energy shields and deploy anti-spacecraft weaponry. The Zerthians, though still recovering from the Chorian invasion, demonstrated remarkable resilience and unity in the face of this new threat. The warship's commander, General Zarek, issued a chilling ultimatum: surrender or face total annihilation. The Zorath were known for their ruthless tactics, and their demand left no room for negotiation. The people of Zerth, though fearful, refused to bow to the threat. As the Zorath warship began its descent into Zerth's atmosphere, it launched a barrage of energy blasts, targeting key infrastructure and military installations. The Zerthian defenses held firm, but the Zorath's firepower was overwhelming. The battle had begun in earnest. Alex, stationed in a command center, directed the defense efforts with precision. He used his knowledge of tactics and strategy to guide the Zerthian forces, coordinating their movements and counterattacks. Micah, working alongside Alex, used his expertise in alien technology to exploit the weaknesses in the Zorath's systems. Despite their best efforts, the Zorath's superior firepower and advanced weaponry made it clear that Zerth was at a disadvantage. The Zerthians fought bravely, but the Zorath's relentless assault pushed them to the brink. The tide of battle seemed to turn against them, and hope began to wane. In a desperate bid to turn the situation around, Alex devised a bold plan. He proposed a daring attack on the Zorath warship's control center, hoping to disrupt their operations and create a window of opportunity for the Zerthian forces. The plan was risky, but it was the only chance they had. Alex and a small team of elite Zerthian soldiers embarked on a covert mission to infiltrate the warship. They used stealth technology to avoid detection and made their way through the ship's corridors, evading guards and bypassing security measures. Their goal was to reach the control center and disable the warship's weapon systems. As they approached the control center, they encountered heavy resistance. The Zorath, aware of the threat, had fortified the area. The team fought through waves of enemies, their determination unwavering. Alex's tactical skills and the soldiers' bravery allowed them to push through, but the battle was fierce. Reaching the control center, Alex and his team faced the final challenge. The Zorath commander, General Zarek, stood defiantly at the control console. A fierce confrontation ensued, with Alex and Zarek clashing in a battle of wits and strength. Despite Zarek's formidable combat skills, Alex's resolve and strategic mind gave him the upper hand. With a final decisive move, Alex disabled the control console, triggering a cascade of failures in the warship's systems. The ship's weaponry powered down, and the once overwhelming assault on Zerth ceased. The Zorath, caught off guard by the sudden loss of their advantage, were thrown into disarray. The Zerthian forces seized the opportunity and launched a counterattack. With the Zorath's warship in disarray, the Zerthians pushed back, driving the invaders away. The battle was hard-fought, but the tide had turned in their favor. As the Zorath warship retreated, the people of Zerth celebrated their hard-won victory. The battle had been arduous, and the cost had been high, but they had defended their home once again. Alex and Micah, though exhausted, were hailed as heroes for their bravery and leadership. The victory over the Zorath marked a significant turning point for Zerth. The people were united and resilient, and their determination had overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. Alex and Micah knew that the galaxy was full of uncertainties, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that their bond and their resolve was stronger than ever. A new beginning. In the aftermath of the battle, Zerth began to rebuild once more. The scars of the conflict were visible, but the spirit of the planet's people was unbroken. Alex and Micah, having played pivotal roles in the defense, were deeply involved in the recovery efforts. The Zerthians, inspired by their leaders' courage and resilience, worked together to restore their homes and strengthen their defenses. They rebuilt infrastructure, repaired damaged facilities, and ensured that their planet was better prepared for any future threats. Alex and Micah continued their collaboration, combining human ingenuity and alien technology to develop advanced defensive systems. They established a network of early warning sensors and reinforced the planet's energy shields, ensuring that Zerth would be better protected against any potential invaders. Their efforts extended beyond the planet's surface. Alex and Micah worked with other worlds and civilizations to share their experiences and knowledge. They formed alliances with neighboring planets, creating a network of support and mutual defense. Their actions earned them respect and recognition throughout the galaxy. Despite the challenges they faced, Alex and Micah found solace in the friendships and alliances they had forged. The shared struggle had created a bond of trust and cooperation that transcended the conflict. They were no longer just defenders of Zerth, they were ambassadors of peace and unity. As Zerth flourished once again, Alex and Micah looked forward to a future where their planet could thrive in peace. The scars of the past remained, but they were a reminder of the strength and resilience of the people of Zerth. The planet had faced formidable enemies and emerged victorious, and its people were determined to ensure that their world remained a beacon of hope and prosperity. The galaxy was still a vast and unpredictable place, but Zerth had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, courage and determination could make a difference. Alex and Micah's story was one of triumph and inspiration, a testament to the power of unity and resilience. As the sun set over Zerth, casting a warm glow across the planet, Alex and Micah stood together, reflecting on their journey. They knew that their work was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring. The legacy of their struggle and the strength of their resolve would guide them as they continued to build a better world for all.